All's fair in love, war, and speedrunning. Today's video is a story of how a speedrunner truly thought outside of the box to achieve an amazing world record, but then a massive twist completely changed everything we thought we knew about the score. This is truly one of the most dramatic stories in recent GoldenEye history, so you're going to want to stick around to the end to find out the shocking revelation that stunned everyone in the community. My friends, it absolutely just keeps happening. Grab a cup of tea and a cozy blanket, and welcome to another story of gamer folklore. But before we get into that, a good word from our friends over at Atlas VPN. It's a time of the year again, well, it's always the time of the year, to make sure you are protected online. And you can do just that by getting a 3-year subscription through my link in the description. Atlas VPN is the best deal in the VPN market, working out to $1.99 a month, and it even comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's super fast, blazing speed, so you won't have to worry about your videos lagging out while connected and watching. A single subscription allows you to protect all your devices, which is awesome. Of course, it stops ads, malware, blocks malicious links and trackers, and of course you all know the trick where you connect to the VPN and then you can get better deals on subscriptions, hotels, plane tickets, all that good stuff. So this is a true story, some new lore. About a year ago, I randomly went to the domain speedrunrecords.com, which you might recall was the old domain before speedrun.com was fully developed and the site moved there. Speedrunrecords.com, however, had since been bought by some bad actor, and when I got there, it instantly began trying to download some malware onto my PC. Foolishly, I wasn't protected and I had to scramble to prevent the download before it finished. Don't make the same mistake I did and get Atlas VPN. Right now, Atlas VPN is running a huge discount. It means you can get a 3-year subscription for just $1.99 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Time is running out, so get your deal by clicking on the link in the video description below. Thanks, Atlas VPN, and now on to the rest of the video. GoldenEye's Aztec stage is notoriously one of the game's most difficult. Many would say the game's most difficult, and perhaps one of the very hardest stages among all notoriously difficult 90s video games. The speedrun world record for Aztec's Secret Agent, the middle difficulty, had been 1 minute 30 seconds dating back to 2016 when it was first set by Perfect Ace. It had only been tied by 2 others going into this year, so suffice to say this was a very good speedrun. However, since Aztec is also one of the most complex levels, it offers a variety of options for playing and optimizing the stage. The most prominent of these dilemmas is whether or not to play the first room safely and then skip the body armor, or to run the first room quickly, likely taking more damage in the way, and then grab the body armor to restore that health. Grabbing the body armor loses about 4 to 5 seconds, so all in all, it's probably a little faster by a second or two to play it safe in the first room, save your health, and then skip the body armor later. But this is also harder to pull off, so you really have to weigh your options. For example, when the world record was 131 by True Faith, he ran the first room and then got the body armor. However, when Perfect Ace scored 130 a few years later, he played the first room safely and then skipped the body armor. So it is a very tough call indeed, both of which have their pros and cons. Now ideally, there would be a way to run the first room and also skip the body armor. This might just be incredibly difficult to pull off, since you're likely to just take way too much damage throughout the run and pass away in the final room, if not earlier. But could any speedrunner be heroic enough to attempt such a thing? Well, meet Banz. A Finnish speedrunner who began speedrunning GoldenEye in late 2018, and in his nascent speedrun career, he's already made a remarkable impression on the game. For example, in 2020, barely over a year into his speedrunning career, he achieved Jungle Agent 49, a pretty uncommon world record that's really only tied by a small handful of other top-tier players. He also holds the very rare and optimized Bunker 1 Agent 16, and has managed to score 15 world records already, which is quite impressive for only having played a few years. However, he wanted more. Banz wanted to become one of the elite few to achieve an Untied World Record, and Aztec's secret agent seemed like a level on which he thought, with some clever planning, good strategy use, and a little thinking outside of the box, he could possibly achieve a legendary Untied World Record. Banz took inspiration from a tool-assisted speedrun shared in April 2021 by Icy Speedrunners. This TAS scores a time of 1:26, so 4 seconds better than the world record, and it was intentionally made to be theoretically humanly possible by making a few notable choices. Icy doesn't run the first room completely riskily, but he does charge the right side guard while ignoring the two on the left. This is about 1 second slower than running the first room completely, and a little less risky to pull off. Usually doing this on Secret Agent would result in your health being too low that you'll probably have to pick up the body armor. However, Icy chooses to skip it and survives the ending by using a very rare tactic. You see, the final big room on Aztec is where dreams go to pass away. Since you're running into a room with 4 drone guns, 5 Moonraker laser guards, and possibly a few other guards who may have been attracted to the area if you made enough noise earlier on the stage. It's extremely difficult to survive running in there, uploading the launch protocol data, and then running back out of the room to the relative safety of these vents where you fend off guards for an unskippable 30-second countdown as the rocket launch readies to complete the mission. Usually, one can expect to get hit once or twice on the way to the mainframe, and then once or twice more on the way back. But it's not uncommon to get hit 4, 5, 6, 7 times in the big room as a whole, which almost certainly causes you to pass away on any difficulty. However, there is a solution. Now, Icy Speedruns was not the first to do this, as even earlier tool-assisted speedruns had done it too, but Icy's run did bring this strategy back into the public consciousness after not having been thought about much for the past few years. Basically, after uploading the launch protocol data, instead of running all the way back to the vents, you can just hide right here beside this crate in the big room with relative safety. There is a guard right here and a drone gun above you, both of which can hit you. However, the other drones and guards in the room cannot. So what you have to do is eliminate the guard, and then, and this is very important and the key to making this work, strafe into the side of the box to sort of force the momentum of Bond into the side of the box, which causes the drone above you to stop seeing you. It looks away for just long enough for you to get a few shots in relatively safely, and you can destroy it that way. You can see here, if you're not strafing into the box, the drone will just pummel you incessantly. However, when you're strafing your momentum into the edge of the box, you're safe. It's a very weird and novel thing that wasn't widely understood until recently, and on top of that it was TAS only in practice, with no player having pulled it off on a meaningful console run. However, Banz took this as a challenge. Armed with the desire to set an Untied World Record and the belief that he could pull off the big room box strafe ending, he began grinding. His plan was to be the first person to pull off a fast first room and also skip the body armor on Secret Agent, and so he began. On February 18th, 2022, Banz completed a score of 1 minute 32 seconds, a tie for 5th place on the stage. Now on this run, you can see he has a notable slowdown as the guards didn't destroy this console blocking his path very quickly, costing what seems to be a little more than a second. But even so, this run is notable for being the first meaningful run performed on console to use the big room box strafe ending. Banz decided he would keep this new personal record to himself and quietly continue grinding the stage without publicly sharing his progress until he reached a record he was satisfied with. The big room box strafe was a publicly known strategy after all, so it wasn't like he was maintaining some kind of unfair advantage. He just wanted to quietly grind until reaching his goal. A couple weeks later, on March 4th, Banz was able to complete a tidier run, with that aforementioned console getting destroyed immediately. We can see he enters the big room with only 3 bars of health, only enough to survive 2 hits. He gets hit once on the way to the mainframe, and then manages the relative safety behind the box, easily surviving a run which without this technique would require so many prayers and blessings to even have a chance at completion. This run ended up being a 1:30, so it was a tied world record, but even so, Banz wanted to push it 1 second faster for the glorious Untied. It would take 2 more weeks of grinding and 1 more notable variation to his strategy to save another second for the 129. You can see on his 130 and 132, Banz goes into this corner to shoot 1 burst, which results in a near guarantee of this guard getting stuck in the mainframe, which is used to lure him and the guard behind him to open the locked glass door. However, to go even lower for the glorious Untied, Banz chose to use the less reliable natural stuck mainframe, just hoping the guard ends up stuck in the mainframe without really doing anything to force the issue. This changes the odds of this happening down from 100% to roughly 10%, but it saves about 2 seconds, so it's definitely worth the trade-off in consistency. It just so happens that on a very fast run with the natural stuck mainframe, Banz took a lot of damage, and was then faced with entering the big room with only 1 bar of health. He can take just 1 shot of damage, something that historically would be completely unsurvivable. Running all the way to the mainframe and back to the vents, getting hit only once, has a close to 0% chance of happening. However, thanks to a perfectly executed big room box strafe, Banz pulls it off. At this point, eliminating the guard, taking out the drone, one can only imagine what's going through Banz's head as he's fully aware that all he has to do is play it cool, not do anything stupid, and once the timer hits 0, he will likely be blessed with a remarkable, historical, untied world record for daring to do what no other speedrunner before him has done. And indeed, on March 21st, 2022, Banz pressed A on the end screen to reveal his new Untied World Record of 129. Banz was thrilled to become the first Finnish speedrunner to set an Untied World Record in GoldenEye 007, as well as bringing the big room box strafe ending to the forefront, likely to be used in many, if not most, future Aztec World Records to come. When I saw you with 1 bar in the vents, I was like, yeah, sure, how's he gonna survive that? Congrats, mate! Amazing, I always knew this ending strat was completely overlooked. Great vid, and congrats on the Untied. I practically spit out my milk when I saw this on the rankings page. Congratulations! It was an amazing world record, and the entire world, at least the GoldenEye speedrun community, knew, if just for a moment, true peace and harmony. But here's the twist. That whole story was only accurate in one timeline of GoldenEye speedrunning, and in order to understand what actually happened, we have to go back several months. You see, even more quietly in the background, top 5 GoldenEye speedrunner and multiple-time Untied World Record setter Gus Riolo was playing Aztec with yet another strategy, one that could save even more time. Back in 2017, legendary GoldenEye strategy master Weister discovered a technique where, by hoping this guard runs toward the glass, something that happens about 10% of the time, then skillfully shooting his leg, and then crouching inside of him thanks to him backing up onto this small ledge here, It turns out that you become invisible from the other guards in the room, who saw you disappear into this guard, got all confused, and then run and open the glass door. This is the fastest known technique for opening the glass door. However, for some inexplicable reason, be it people couldn't be arsed or the community hive mind never got around to it, only one player ever used this technique to score a personal record on Aztec. A runner, DSX, who got a time of 125 on Agent, 1 second off the world record at the time, with some very obvious mistakes throughout the run. Despite this technique obviously having the potential to save a lot of time and offer anyone willing to try a great opportunity at an Untied World Record, no one else would explore this technique for 5 more years. But indeed, it is the technique that none other than Gus Riolo decided to finally start exploring. All the way back on January 14th, after only a few sessions of attempts like this, Gus was able to score a new Untied World Record on the Agent difficulty of 122, beating the previous Untied World Record of 123 by Wotus, which used a different and slightly slower glass door technique. It's just amazing to see how easy it was for Gus to score the Untied, using a strategy that, again, no one bothered to try, despite it very obviously saving a lot of time. However, Gus decided he would hoard the time, perhaps as part of an ongoing hoard project, of which there are many going on at any time within the community, or perhaps because this set him up perfectly to get an untied sweep. If you recall, he achieved the Aztec 00 Agent Untied World Record last year, becoming the first player to skip the body armor on the notoriously difficult stage. So, all he needed was an Untied World Record on Secret Agent to complete the extremely rare feat of an untied sweep. And of course, Gus didn't want to reveal that he had used the amazing time-saving crouch strategy, because then others would catch on, realize it actually does save a lot of time, and perhaps tie or beat his Agent and 00 Agent world records before he could untie Secret Agent. And again, I certainly don't blame him for that at all, as the strategy was public knowledge, and any other speedrunner could have been doing the same thing as he was, playing quietly with the crouch strategy for a great record until satisfied with their goal. I think you can see where this is headed. So all the while, when Banz was grinding for his own Untied of Aztec Secret Agent 129, Riolo was also grinding with an even faster strategy. And not only that, but if we compare the Aztec runs of Riolo's 122 and Wotus's 123, we can see that the glass opening technique that Wotus used is one that's actually faster than the mainframe stuck technique used by Banz. So what this means is that, while Gus's use of the crouch strategy saved 1 second on Agent, it actually stood to save a lot more time on Secret Agent. And so throughout the month of March 2022, while Banz was grinding away on Aztec's Secret Agent, eventually culminating in his 129, Gus Riolo was also grinding away using an even faster strategy. Lo and behold, on March 18th, 2022, Riolo completed this run. If you don't know what time he got yet, just watch this magnificent thing of beauty and try to guess the score at the end. Indeed, Riolo had put down an incredible record of 1 minute and 25 seconds. An amazing multiple-second Untied World Record. And if you've paid close attention, you'd have realized that Riolo scored this 125 3 days before Banz got his 129. That means Riolo's time was a 5-second Untied World Record when set. Now, Riolo didn't reveal his record immediately. It seems as though he was planning on hoarding it for a Horde project later, but after Banz posted his 129, Riolo didn't want Banz to falsely believe he held the Untied World Record, when in reality he didn't. So a couple of days after Banz posted his 129, Riolo finally broke the news that he had indeed scored a 125. That crouch strat is insane. I thought it would be a lot longer before we saw the crouch strat in a run. The peak of human evolution. So it was certainly an amazing and stunning revelation from Gus Riolo that really no one was expecting. And I think we can all empathize with Banz, having believed you scored an Untied World Record, only to learn shortly thereafter that someone else beat you to it with an even faster score. Feels bad, man. But that's the nature of speedrunning. There's always a chance you'll get beat to your goal by someone else. I don't even really consider hoarding to be a major factor in this situation either. It's always possible that you might grind for a record, eventually get it, but find out that only an hour or two earlier someone else beat you to it. That has happened a number of times throughout speedrun history. Alas, all is fair in love, war, and speedrunning. And ultimately, at the end of the day, a huge congratulations to both men for achieving truly great records. Riolo's 125 has massive repercussions, however that must be discussed. This time completed his untied sweep on the stage, an exceptionally rare feat that usually only happens once every 2 or 3 years these days. And given the game gets more and more optimized, with every new untied sweep, it is possible that this will be the very last one in the history of the game. How long will his untied sweep last? Well, certainly Aztec Agent is primed to be tied or beaten once other runners get around to trying out the crouch strategy. An Aztec Double Agent record is still 134, which is a truly amazing time, especially the way Riolo got it. But if someone can manage to pull off the crouch strategy, they could stand to beat the score for sure. Not to mention, Riolo's 134 was especially amazing because it was the first Double Agent World Record to skip the body armor, and now skipping the body armor is made significantly easier thanks to the Big Room Box Strafe ending. So I think we're likely to see a few seconds trimmed off Aztec Double Agent throughout the rest of 2022. Something like a 130 or 129 may not even be out of reach with these recent developments. And when it comes to Secret Agent, this 125 is truly amazing and stunning, but Gus still does get the body armor on this run. Might it be possible to complete a Secret Agent run with the crouch strat, skipping the body armor, and using the Big Room Box Strafe to survive safely? A run like that could potentially lower this already truly insane score. If you want to know what happens next in the amazing and ever-evolving world of GoldenEye speedrunning, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you never miss one of these epic stories. And that'll do it, my friends, for this remarkable tale about 2 speedrunners' quests to set an Untied World Record on Aztec Secret Agent, all the strategies and twists that they encountered along the way. I hope you enjoyed, thank you all for watching, stay true, and I'll see you in the next stream or video.